Listen, I know y'all thinking, what the heck does this man have up behind him? But you'll understand as we get into tonight's show. It's a little after 11 p.m. East Coast time, which means you're now in the beatdown. I'm Brew. This is the Badger. What you got for him, man?
Man, listen, bro. It's that time of the night. You know what happens three times a week?
Yo,
It's called
yo.
a beatdown, and it's called out therapy time. So I'm here for it, brother. What we got?
Listen, I'm not gonna make him wait to figure out what's behind me any longer. I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. Let
Hey,
me
that's awesome. That is very creative. Now go ahead, cause I already
let
know where you're going with it. This is dope.
me move out the way so y'all can see the announcement that was made today. Roy Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson on September 12th from Los Angeles, California. I couldn't find a better representation of the geriatric heavyweight championship. I, I know I'm gonna take the heat for it, but I don't care. That was funny when I saw it.
Yeah, bro, you already know how I feel about this, man. And just based on the conversations that we had today when you and I spoke earlier,
Mhm.
um, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't like it for a few reasons, but we'll start with the more obvious. I grew up on Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson. Those were the baddest men on the planet for the duration of from my all my childhood to my early adulthood. When Roy Jones lost, I think it was 2007, 5, somewhere when he lost for the first time, right?
It hurt you, didn't it?
It was crushing because it was kind of like how I felt when Nick Anderson stole the ball from Jordan when he came back after he missed that season and came back and they lost to the Magic in the playoffs. It hit the same way. I don't know why these guys are doing this. People are going to laugh about it and say, oh, listen, man, these two guys gave
Yeah.
everything to boxing. There's no reason for this, bro. And I was having a conversation with somebody in the gym today, and for me, they were talking about who was going to win. I say, the bigger question is, one, will they be able to go all the rounds? This is an exhibition match, so I don't know how long it's going to last. But nobody's talking about the fact that Mike Tyson hasn't been punched in the face in 15 years.
Well, he will.
His last fight was 2005.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but if I tried to go out and clean up a tight end coming across the middle, or getting a wide receiver coming on a slant route, or filling the alley on a sweep or a play coming to my side, I can tell you this. Not only am I gonna be apprehensive about it, but
Uh-huh.
when I'm done with it, I'm probably gonna be messed up because my body hasn't been battered in about 15 years.
Okay.
And that's with a bunch of equipment on designed to protect me.
Okay. They got
So
headgear.
you putting a 50, are they gonna have headgear on?
Yes. California. Mike said you had to have headgear.
Okay. Well, now that I know that headgear is in play, because that's something that we talked about earlier, I wasn't sure they were going to do that or not.
First,
Now that I know that headgear is a thing, I mean, I still don't like it, but I'm more apt to be okay with it because I think that the odds of somebody getting seriously hurt are slim to none.
I'll be honest. I think the least worry is the head. The organ failure might be the biggest worry. Because your liver not gonna respond at 46 and 53 like it did in your 20s. Um, but look, these are two grown men. If you want to go after somebody, go after the person that's putting the money up for this. That's who we need to. That's who we need to complain to.
Yeah, well,
Don't
look,
complain to the people who need the money.
well, no, we can complain about people that need the money because we know that both of these
Stop.
guys,
Stop. If you're gonna talk about how much money they had it. They don't have it now.
both of these
Now they
guys,
need it.
both of these guys
Yeah.
are icons.
Right. But broke icons don't mean nothing. They mean something
You're
to us.
on, listen,
But being broke doesn't help them.
you're only a broke icon because you are looking, your perspective on how you should make money and how much money you should make is skewed. These two men by themselves,
Hold
bro,
on.
could do so much more than get in the ring. As a matter of fact, how much are they getting paid?
He didn't disclose that.
He didn't disclose it.
Uh-uh.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Either way, either way, I was listening to you, but it was hard to really hear you with the sounds of the violins in the background.
Listen, bro, I dig it. I understand that we are animals at heart. We want to see blood and carnage and pain.
That's not even
That's
it.
what fighting is all about.
That's not even it.
And like you said earlier, we love the circus.
That's
Nothing is gonna be funnier than the memes that's gonna come out when you watch these two old guys get in the ring and somebody look like they shouldn't belong. And those are the moments that people are waiting for. Like, we're not watching these guys because we want to see skill, because it's not going to be any. They're old and they haven't been active. Now, Roy Jones may be okay because he's fought recently, but come on, man. Like, I just ain't, I ain't ready for it. Shout to the homie, the big homie, Silky Wicked. Broke icons don't mean nothing. Hey, you right, bro. You right, and that's why we gonna get the circus. So,
listen, it's not even the circus element anymore. I'm be realistic. It's not something that I would encourage or I would sign off on if I was a commissioner or if I was, if they had to come. It's not something that I would go after as a promoter. But I look at it like this: if you have lost that much of your faculties, where you decide to throw caution to the wind. Now, Max Kellerman tried to dress it up and say, well, usually an old guy tries to come back and fight a young guy, but it's not happening like that this time. And it's the same thing. Your best days are, unless you're taking HGH, your best days are far behind you.
Even then, at 53, it don't matter what you're taking.
But if you're in your normal state, there's no way. Somebody's trained more than somebody else in this situation. Roy's fought a lot more recently than Mike Tyson.
And he looks worse every time he goes out there.
Hey, but he's fought a lot. He fought, what, 10 months ago?
Yeah, it ain't been that long.
Tyson fought in the early 2000s?
2005.
2005. 15 years versus 10 months. Now, Tyson said his body's fresh. 15 years versus 10 months. I don't see it. I don't see it as being anything positive. Yeah, it'll be entertaining if they both come out of it unscathed. But if
it's gonna be as entertaining as Dada 5000 and Kimbo Slice. It's that kind of clown show. Yeah, it's that kind of clown show. We're not watching this for skill. As a matter of fact, the only reason why this fight is happening is because Mike Tyson put a video of him hitting the pads and has then been convinced by not only his closest people, but by the masses that he should fight again. Mike still got it. No, Mike doesn't.
Well, listen, if I will promote the winner of this fight versus the Haitian body snatcher, Silky Wilkie Camphor.
Silky will beat the shit out of both of these dudes, and he's 5 weight classes beneath them.
That's fine.
And Silky wouldn't take the fight. He's much more of a gentleman than that.
Hey, I will offer you a good bucket of money, Silk. I don't hear you talking, Badger. I don't hear you talking.
What? Could you say you offer me a boat of money?
A bucket of money.
I mean, it depends on what kind of movement, dog. And normally he say money ain't the motivator, but if he hungry, the hungry Haitian team, if he hungry, he might take that. But no, back to this though. Like, seriously, this fight is happening because of social media, bro. Like,
no, it's
no
not.
other reason.
No,
bro.
This fight is happening because people are chasing their glory days. That's why this fight is happening.
No, it is not. This fight is happening because Mike Tyson went viral and people have convinced him that he needs to get that he still got it. That's why. If Mike Tyson never puts that video out, this fight doesn't happen. Okay. You know that. So it is because of social media.
But again, people, you can put a video out, and to be honest, Mike put it out to show people that he still had it.
It's
That's
no different than Michael. Listen, it's the
no,
same thing we do. It's the same thing that we see when Michael Jordan puts out videos of him
no,
schooling some
no,
college kids or
no, it's
schooling
not.
some six guy on the
No, it's
bench.
not. No, it's not.
What do you mean?
It's not because Michael Jordan plays ball all the time, and he plays against lesser competition. All he's doing is stroking his own ego. Mike Tyson now feels like them glory days are right around the corner. I'm not gonna fight somebody new, but I can fight somebody who was good in my time, a younger guy, and I can show people for real I'm still that Mike Tyson. That's the way he was sounding today on ESPN.
Listen to me,
That's the way
dude.
he was sounding.
You've been watching too much of that bullshit, bro. Did you
I'm
just
telling
tell
you
me
how
that?
he sounded. I'm not
Did
saying I
you?
feel that way.
I'm not even talking about what Tyson said. X that out. Did you just tell me
Hmm?
that the only reason Mike Tyson is taking this fight is because of anything other than his ego? Have you lost your mind?
I
Because
said,
of it.
listen to me. Maybe I didn't speak the right language to you, but I said his glory days, which is his ego.
So then, what's the difference between him and Michael Jordan? It's the same thing.
Michael Jordan's not putting himself in a situation where he's gonna get hurt. Mike's
Michael
not
Jordan
stepping
is.
on an NBA court. Mike's
Listen,
getting in a sanctioned game. Mike is this Mike is getting between the ropes once again, headgear or no headgear. When you get tired, all kinds of things can happen.
I'm not even talking about the element of being hurt. We're talking strictly about two of the guys that have been arguably the greatest at their craft.
Uh-huh.
What I'm saying is, Michael Jordan is not getting back on a court to compete with anyone that he feels like is better than him.
Correct. I agreed with you.
Mike Tyson is not competing with anyone he feels is better. As a matter of fact, how many times has Roy Jones been stretched in the last 4 or 5 years? Like, you talking about him fighting in 10 months. He fought 10 months ago. Did you see how he looked the last time he got knocked out? It was pretty sad. Was it not?
I need you to do something. Read that comment.
I'm going to post the comment, but I'm talking to you. The comment ain't going on. I'm going to post it, but I'm asking you a question. When Roy got stretched,
Right.
were you okay with that?
Listen, I told you I wasn't okay with this fight, but they're gonna get in there because they're chasing glory days and chasing money. No, I wasn't okay with it. But he's a grown man. What am I
Listen, and I agree with Silky. Let them do what they want. I'm just saying, and listen, now that I know they got headgear on, I feel a little bit differently about it. All I'm saying is, we say this now until somebody gets hurt. And what would be worse than one of these two dudes that should be riding off in the sunset with their children and their legacy get a damn brain bleed? We saw Zab Judah get a brain bleed. He was an active fighter.
Listen,
He was active.
maybe their sacrifice of stupidity will help somebody else not to come back once they're gone.
Nah, not when you got people like you amping it up. That's not gonna happen.
I'm not amping it up.
You're
What
selling the fight.
What show are you watching?
You're selling the
What
fight.
show are you watching?
The one where you talking.
No, you're missing everything that I'm saying. But I understand. It's the Baltimore intellect versus the Florida intellect. It's just not meshing. I get this. I get it. I get it. I don't know why. It took me a while to understand what was going on. Take the hat and the sunglasses off. You can hear me. You really can.
I would ask you to look at me in my eyes, but I feel like that'd be a bit much.
Wow. Yeah. Usually you save that for the ladies.
Yeah, but I mean, it's look, at the end of the day, bro, it's all good. Like, this is kind of where we at, right? These are a part of our new realities that we're living in, where we want to see old men fight. I hope they get paid and compensated well for it.
Well, I hope at least they have insurance.
Hey, guess what? If they ain't got it, guess who got it on them? If they ain't got insurance, I bet somebody got insurance on them.
Probably their wives.
Okay, or the promoter.
Definitely the promoter. Here, sign this for me. What's this? Don't worry about it.
Right. Don't read your contract like you was doing 20, 30 years ago. Have that same energy. Keep that same energy since you want to fight.
They get Don King to get him to sign it.
Hold on.
I'm surprised he's not promoting this.
So listen, so now that we're here,
Uh-oh.
how do you see this playing out?
Ugly. I see Mike trying to come out like Mike. He can't bob and weave like he used to. But I see him trying to come out like Mike, coming in, trying to work in behind the jab and work the body. And there's a lot more body on Roy than used to be. And I see Roy without the speed trying to utilize the speed because he's not just going to hurt a normal heavyweight with his power.
Yeah.
Especially not now.
So listen, so this is a question I want to ask my brother Silky. I've been in a lot of gyms. I've been a part of Silky's camp for years, and I watch Silk work.
Mm-hmm.
We watch Silk work, right?
Yeah.
Have we ever seen Silky work at anything less than 100% when he get in the ropes?
No.
Okay.
But
Pause.
I like.
Hold on. Wait, no. Pause. So you expect two guys who egos are still telling their old asses that they can fight, that they finna go in here and do anything other than full tilt go at 100%. They're fighters, bro. When that bell ring, they coming for blood, bro. We talking this peaceful shit because we on the outside looking in. When that bell rings, bro, them boys is gonna fight. That's all they know how to do, bro.
Listen, Tyson said it today. When Max Kellerman was talking about that this is going to be an exhibition, or we're going to see the real Mike Tyson, or we're going to see the older, more mature, let's just get in and give him a show. After he finally pinned Mike in the corner, Mike said, you're going to see the best Mike Tyson I can bring. I don't get in a fight to dance. I get in a fight to fight.
All right, enough said.
And that's I agree with you, Silk. Tyson wins by knockout.
Damn. That's because none of y'all real native Floridians. I'm rocking with Roy in a decision.
Well, y'all listen. I understand when people say, "How can you rock with Roy?" He's a Jaguars fan. You gonna root for the ship even when you see it sinking. I understand that, bro. I get it. Homer, don't anything, and I appreciate you for that. Anything Florida, you got it. You
says the guy from Baltimore that's a Penn State fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm also
no. You're a Penn State fan.
I root for the Orioles.
You're a Penn State fan.
Right.
It's okay. That's fine.
It is okay. It's
fine.
It is okay. Hey, listen, I root for the University of Maryland against Central Florida.
That ain't what we're talking about. You're a Penn State fan. That's all that matters.
I'm also a Maryland. I'm also a Bowie fan, a Morgan fan.
Tyson only has one speed kill speed. Yeah. I just think that what's gonna happen is I feel like 15 years of absence, and then you get back into a ring. I just feel like he's gonna be tight. And for guys that fight, and still you can attest to this, when you're not relaxed and you tight, you drain your battery big time. I just think that Mike might be a little bit too tense. I don't know how many rounds. Do we know how many rounds they're going? Do we know?
No.
Okay. That's going to be a big deal too. We know Roy can give you 8 to 10.
Not good ones.
I don't know if Mike can give us 8 to 10 and still be able to protect himself.
Well, you know what?
One thing we know, that ain't moving like it moved 25 years ago, 30 years ago.
No.
Them legs is gone. So, yeah.
Do that again.
So he's going to have to do a different bob and weave
do that bob
to get inside of Roy. So I don't know, bro. I'm a little.
Do that bob and weave again.
Nah, I'm still hurting from the beating I took today in the gym. But
well, you look good doing it, bro. I'm just letting you know you can get in there.
But no, seriously though, like I don't know. Given the way that Mike fights, people don't understand how strong Mike Tyson's legs were. People get caught up with the beautiful knockout, the combination knockouts.
But it all started,
This at the legs, man. That dude had phenomenal footwork and balance. He was explosive from his legs.
and he was a very good defensive fighter.
Yes,
He played
right.
on
See what I'm
the
saying? It's a lot of moving parts that ain't been moving. So
right.
I don't know. I have a hard time picking
And
Mike in this
listen,
fight, man.
Mike gets high every day.
And he smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah,
Oh man, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm sure Roy does too, but
And you know what makes this interesting and compelling is because we've always seen Roy commentating, training, and fighting. He's living the lifestyle still, so to speak. Mike literally is getting off the couch and is giving himself what, 6 weeks?
no, he's been training because remember a couple months ago they were talking about him against somebody else and him against Evander Holyfield. And
Yeah, but you and I both know, bruh, that the real I'm
yeah,
not gonna say the real training, but we know training takes turns up another notch when somebody signs on that line of disrespect you so they can beat you in a fight.
but
That's when it becomes real.
here's the thing about Mike. Mike has been traveling around the country working with guys for years, like guys who are the next Mike Tyson, guys who are giving pointers, doing camps. I mean, getting into training camps and working with fighters. Mike will just show up and offer his services.
So are we saying that Mike Tyson has been like in this covert training operation for a while, meaning like a couple of years? Is that what we're saying?
That's
Because
what
if we're not saying that, I'm still not saying that's enough.
it still might not be enough because he
Right.
hasn't gotten in a regular fight
Right.
in 15 years. I
Yeah.
just think a current Mike Tyson, Roy has like 135 fights, bro.
Yeah.
It's like his body, Roy just been weather beaten. You know
Yeah.
that old car mat you refuse to get rid of, but every time you wash your car, you beat it against the post.
Or a belt, that good old belt that's perfectly curved and been worn for like 20 years. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sorry, you wouldn't get that reference. But yes, I get it, bro.
Oh
I just think that I mean Mike, listen, we got more questions for Mike than we do for Roy. That's all I'm gonna say.
no, I got some questions for Roy because every time I hear Roy, he sounded like he got
Here we go.
he sounded like he got less and less education. And I know Roy's a smart dude, but when you start hearing Roy talking and he's I mean, he should have stopped fighting a while ago, bro. A while ago. A while ago.
Listen, you lucky that this show is about these two fighting because you know we don't do Roy Jones slander on this show. Just to point that out to you, sir.
I do, sir.
But
I do.
but you know, we look,
Hey,
it's gonna happen.
my look, he's watching and he comes on for an interview.
Hey, don't hey, we might get bro while you playing.
I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about that.
See how well them jokes resonate then.
They'll work
Oh, you the guy?
because we're remote. He ain't gonna come to my house and do the interview. I'm good.
Hey, listen, so we got all these jokes going around. So people saying that the winner of this fight should fight Stephen A. Smith.
Ooh,
Did you see
yeah. Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith's training video? Remember he was doing the box and how horrible that was. Yeah, you know, and I'm gonna say this, and this is probably gonna give me some flack, but you know, people of melanin, right?
Yes.
There are some things that we tend to just kind of do, right?
Yes.
We hear music, we hear rhythm. We usually can move to a beat. Some of us better than others, but we can kind of do it. We usually have some type of style in the way we move. When I watched Stephen A. Smith hit the miss, bro, I'll just say this. He was looking real light skinned. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Real light skin.
He was looking real light skinned on that one.
Almost albino. Yeah.
Hey, almost unrecognizable if it wasn't for the hairline. I wouldn't know who he was. That's how bad he looked.
Speaking of which, I know we're gonna come back to boxing. What my man say?
Hey, you right, bro. I mean, look, Silk, he giving us the facts. I mean, no one can tell these guys when to stop.
That's true. That's true.
You know,
Father Time can, but yeah,
yeah, just like you know,
Ricky can tell him when to stop. If you don't know who Ricky is, his last name is Mortis. He can sure tell him when to stop.
hey.
Sorry about that.
But yeah, no, but you know, at the end of the day, man.
But listen, did anybody? I sent you the link yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. Did anybody out there watching the show catch the DMX versus Snoop Dogg battle on Versus?
Oh, you already know I was tuned in for a player.
Or as my wife said, dang, that's DM Triple X.
Hey, y'all gonna get off Earl. Earl look good. I don't give a damn. I'd rather him have a gun
no,
and be out of breath than him be out there on crack. So I don't give a damn what y'all say.
Yes, he does, but Earl looked like DM Snacks.
Hey, listen. Listen. They say what they say. They say the gangsters get rich and fat and move to Miami. Okay, he ain't making it to Miami, but he getting fat. He deserves it.
One of them. Yeah,
he deserves it, man.
Listen,
and that brother been through a lot, so I'm glad to just see him in the light and doing well.
But he gained weight in like a year, bro.
Yeah, it happened. Happened pretty quick.
Cause I'm like, I saw him last year. I'm like, he still look like DMX. You know, baby.
Yeah. Well, he was
yesterday. He was like,
that's because he stopped doing drugs, bro.
One day I got to tell you about the fat drug guy I knew as a kid.
The who?
The fat drug. He was a fat crackhead. Yes, they do exist. He said in his reasoning for staying fat while he did crack, because he said they'll never guess that I'm on this.
Hey, bro, you're right. We don't want to see him get hurt, bro. And that's why I was advocating against the fight, bro. But now that we know they got on headgear, hey, we'll just have to watch it and see what happens, bro. But yeah, bro, we love you and we pray for you every time you get in the ring, bro. We don't want to see nobody get hurt. No, I don't care. Even if I don't know you, bro, it's just, fighters lay so much on the line for our entertainment, bro. I just want to see them get fairly compensated.
Yeah.
And we can, and there's a million different ways we can talk about how that works, but you can't play fight.
So. No, I don't want to see him get hurt either. That's why I wouldn't be in favor of it. Listen, I crack jokes and all, but I grew up watching both of these guys, man. I mean, I came out of the Ali Frazier era. And, when Larry Holmes, I thought Larry Holmes was a boring heavyweight champ, but he was the heavyweight champ.
Right.
I respect it.
And he had 16 defenses.
Right.
Some crazy shit like that.
But then when he was fighting people in movies and stuff, it didn't, But then when this guy came along out of Brownsville through Catskills, and you started hearing about him, and you see him on USA Tuesday Night Fights, and he just came in and just destroyed somebody. Like,
must see TV.
You hadn't seen a heavyweight do that since Foreman.
Yeah.
Not in the way. Mike was a machine.
Yep.
And to see him take the heavyweight division at will, he just took it at will.
Yeah.
There was nobody. Lennox didn't want him then.
Nah.
Keep in mind, Lennox was running his mouth training in England. Lennox didn't want him then. He had just fought for Jamaica. Holyfield didn't want him then. Because they said they asked Holyfield when he came up, they were like, hey, are you trying to fight Mike Tyson? He said, no, I'm going to fight a rapist. Whatever excuse he could use to not fight Mike then, he was going to use it. Because Mike was dangerous, bro.
So I'm going to stop you there. And I'm only saying this because I just feel like it happens to everybody. Honestly, I just think Evander just might have been a guy that could always beat Mike. I think that just might have been the one guy he just couldn't beat. It was the way Evander fought, and it was his toughness and his ruggedness and his mental. But
you got to understand when he fought Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Mike, I get it. I understand.
He did not want to fight the original Mike Tyson.
I get it, but you gotta think Holyfield had been chasing Tyson's shadow forever.
But he wasn't chasing Tyson. He didn't want Tyson in the beginning. He stayed with
Oh,
him.
yeah,
So
okay, all right.
then when Evander, neither one of them had belts. He had his wars with Bo. Tyson was out of the spotlight. And you're right. People still said, but you couldn't beat Mike Tyson.
Yeah. So, and you know what's funny about this is it kind of dovetails into the versus battle from last night with DMX and Snoop Dogg. Two different guys. Mike Tyson, more the DMX type, and Roy just so smooth and flashy. We ain't never seen anything like Roy Jones either. Keep this in mind.
Well, I was going to get to that.
You know what the one thing is that everybody agrees about with Roy Jones Jr.? The one thing, you know what it is. In Roy Jones Jr.'s prime, there isn't a person on this planet that could say that anybody throughout the history of boxing could have beat him in his prime in his weight class.
So, yeah, I would.
Everybody says that.
So, are you saying that he was not in his prime when Tarver got him?
No. Remember, Tarver had got him after the John Ruiz fight when he had stripped down the 25 pounds of muscle from going to heavyweight. So that's when Tarver got him.
Twice.
Yeah. Yeah. And Roy was physically not. And Roy was physically not the same after that fight.
Okay.
Well, I mean, and listen, and Tarver might have been Roy's kryptonite.
Yeah.
We'll never know because he didn't fight him in his prime, so we'll never know. What I'm saying is that people had been saying when Jones came back to try to get the belt from Tarver, because remember he had to vacate the belt to go up.
Mm-hmm.
So when he came back to fight Tarver to get the belt, people were saying, "Hey man, let's want to take a tune-up fight," or because people were saying that you just went to heavyweight and you stripped all that muscle back down to come to light heavy. 20-something pounds of muscle. That's a lot. That's not like cutting regular weight for a fight. But you're stripping the muscle down.
Here's the funny thing: when I saw that interview with Roy Jones Jr., his mindset was it was nothing in the world he couldn't do. Like he would go out before a fight, he would have sex the night before a fight. He would go out before a fight and play, hours of basketball. He wasn't your normal fighter who rested, who did the protocol per se before a fight.
Roy Jones Jr. was must-see TV before must-see TV. Roy Jones was the first guy I knew of that ESPN followed around for a day. This was before cell phones, right? This was before social media. ESPN sent people to Pensacola to follow him to a basketball game in New Orleans, wherever he played a game at. Mm-hmm. Then he had a triple-double, whatever he did. Like Ice Cube, today was a good day. Mess around, got a triple-double. But yeah. He got a triple-double, whatever he did in the game, right?
Yeah. Gets
in a car, drives to wherever the fight was, all this in the same day, and then goes in there not to do that.
Yeah.
Like, this guy defied all the rules of boxing. Roy Jones was Achilles in a boxing form. Nobody would tell you that Roy could be beating his prime. And yeah, you're right, bro. Glenn Johnson was listen. Glenn Johnson, man. Glenn don't get enough credit, to be honest.
Right.
Like you start talking about guys in that division that nobody wanted to fight. When you hear all those guys talk, Tarver, Roy, who was it? Not one James Tony. Who was the other guy he fought? It was another guy in that little trifecta, bro. Glenn.
Tony, because I remember when Tony retired, I ran Barkley.
Yeah, I ran the blade. Yeah, but Glenn Johnson, shit. I used to watch Glenn Johnson fight and feel sorry for who he was fighting. Yeah, because it was like you knew at some point you were gonna get tired, and this dude was never going to get tired, and he's going to keep coming forward. I don't care. I seen Glenn Johnson eat some shots, bro, and his face never changed. It was like
you were in his way.
Yeah. That dude was a beast, man. I met Glenn Johnson. Shout out to Glenn Johnson. He's a GOAT. Definitely one of the best to ever do it. But yeah, back to Roy though. Yeah, Roy defied all the rules of boxing, and that's what ultimately caught up to him at the end of his career because he never learned the real fundamentals of boxing. He was just so gifted. He was just so physically gifted, bro.
Yeah. And he was. And I remember watching him on TV. I remember when he got cheated in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And then when he left his dad, because his dad wanted to keep training him.
Yeah.
And I mean, Roy just did things his way. He was the closest thing. Now, I'm not talking socially or anything like that, but physically gifted. He, like Ali, changed the way people fought
Yeah.
in that division,
Yeah.
and anywhere close to that division.
Yeah, we had never seen a heavyweight move like Ali before.
No, and we hadn't seen a light heavyweight move like Roy Jones Jr.
Or middleweight
or
or super
middleweight.
middleweight. Because
Because
he ran
honestly,
3 weight classes.
Roy broke every norm.
Yeah, every rule.
He would punch, and it's funny, he punched. If you really look at him and you look at what's his name? Grandmaster Vic Moore, he punched like a martial artist. Bruce Lee, he punched like a martial artist because he didn't have to come back here back in the day. Roy will punch you from right here. But
he used to do some wild stuff.
But he was able using that through his hips and
what's even funnier is how many jabs did we ever see Roy Jones Jr. throw?
Even his jabs.
Yeah, his primary punch was a lead left hook. Like, I guess we'd have to ask Silky or somebody that probably studies this more than we do. But I would like to see a fight where Roy Jones threw a lot of jabs. He jabbed every now and then.
Recently,
Roy was firing off lead left hooks. That was his jab. Like,
recently, he's been throwing jabs because he's tired.
You gotta relax, bro. Moving on. So let's talk about this versus battle last night before we run out of time.
Listen,
what you thought? Give me your assessment. What you think?
It was the best one I have seen, bar none. If they were allowing crowds back in the building and DMX wouldn't fall out, I would say they need to go on tour with that one.
That's what a lot of comments were saying too. And this is the first time they've actually had the two competitors in the same space.
Right. No, I thought no.
No, everybody did it from their own spots.
No, Beanie Man and Bounty Killer were in the same space.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're right. They were. Okay.
Similar setup, but
yeah. You're right. They were.
Snoop had more accoutrements than Beanie Man and Bounty Killer.
Snoop was smoking.
They had a bartender.
Yeah, Snoop was smoking. Listen, and shouts out to Swiss Beats, man, for holding his boy down.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really have much about Swiss Beats, but that man DMX is his boy. Like, every time Mace get in trouble, Swiss Beats there.
Hold up. He's his boy because DMX made Swiss Beats. DMX made Swiss Beats. You think the Locks would have gotten Swiss Beats on like DMX did? Eve didn't even get Swiss Beats on like DMX. DMX made Swiss Beats. And as hot as DMX had the hottest first 4 CDs I've ever seen.
3. Not 4. 3. What was that? Grand Champ was not classic. Grand Champ was not a classic album. It's Dark and Hell is Hot, and then there was X and Flesh of My Flesh. They all came out within 18 months of each other. Those were the 3 classic albums. That Grand Champ shit that came out like 3 or 4 years later was not a classic, bro.
I'm about to prove you wrong, but okay.
Please do. I just gave them the 3 albums, and they all came out within 18 months of each other.
If I could get to my CD case, I would let you know.
You got a computer in your hand, just Google. It'll tell you.
Mm-hmm. I asked for the first 4 and they give me everything else. You're right though, but no, there are 4. The first 4 that came out, Flesh of My Flesh was number 5.
So, are you talking about the one with the Rough Riders anthem on it?
That was on not mistaken, on the first one. That
was on his first album, but that wasn't a classic album. It had some good cuts on it.
Yes, it was. It had me, dog.
Rough Riders anthem, the song with him and How's It Going Down. He had some hits on it, but I just
listen. That Joker came out there. The only reason why Jay-Z put him on tour with him after on his first CD coming out was because Jay didn't want to run competition. Real talk.
We ain't talking about Jay-Z, man. Anyway,
real talk.
So move right along.
The first 4 CDs blew up. The last one he came out with, I think, had Get It on the Floor, Get It on the Floor. And then he came out with Flesh of My Flesh when really BET ruined him with that series. Um, he could do no wrong on them first four, bro. I'm telling you, he was the hottest thing smoking around the world. And when
Bro, I'm not doubting any of that. I just questioned whether the first four are classics. But okay, I mean,
he always mentioned who Swiss Beats, even more than Rough Riders. He mentioned
so
Swiss Beats.
well, but that's the case with most
When
rappers, bro.
no wonder Swiss Beats held him down. Swiss Beats.
Bro, okay, I get what you're saying. DMX was his first big break, but bro, I don't even want to begin to ask you to pull up Swiss Beats catalog, and you can exclude everything that was Rough Riders. Take away all the Rough Rider shit, and look all the other shit he's done.
I know, but I mean, I see why he held him down. When somebody really gets you that
he
level,
held him. Nah, he held,
come working with you.
bro. He held him down because he loved him, bro.
Okay,
It
you're
ain't got
right.
nothing to do with that. Yeah, he genuinely loves that dude, bro. Because all the shit X could have been doing, he could have washed his hands with him, and nobody would have thought any different about it.
Here's the crazy thing. You know how many people passed on X?
No, I don't.
Somebody brought him to Sean Combs. They brought him to Puffy. And they said, dude, you got to sign him. Biggie had just died. Puffy said, I got somebody that sounds just like Biggie. It's going to be way better than this dude. Where's Shine right now?
In Belize, running for some type of governor seat or mayor or something like that.
But he spent how much time just sitting in the hole waiting?
He took a fall for Puff.
Exactly. And he talked about that later. Didn't help his court case at all because Puff said he was going to buy him a lawyer.
So before we get too sidetracked, so what was your assessment of the verse? Let's talk about that. What did you get?
It was, listen, I felt so bad because we turned the music up and my 4.5-year-old was dancing around. I'm like, oh, I know she shouldn't be listening to this, but I can't turn this song down. I've been so good about not letting her listen to a lot of music. But last night, that just brought,
But listen, bro, what you gonna stop doing is denying your baby some Luke. Your baby is a Floridian. She ain't the same music her mama got.
Listen,
why are you trying to be all conservative? Give
us
some Luke.
I know you go to the gym and all, but if you were sitting there and said that, I tried that shit. I'm just like, I bet ain't go. Listen, she better not dance to Luke at my funeral. No,
that's terrible, bro. Your baby's a Floridian. But listen, so
was in the loop. She was, but you ain't supposed to say that.
So my assessment was very
horrible saying she was a Floridian. Go ahead.
She, I thought everybody won. I thought the fans won.
Yeah, that's.
And again, it was just so happy to see X in a positive light. You know what I'm saying? And see him kind of being himself. He had some funny moments, but he was being himself. And the admiration between the two. They were both really fans of each other's work. Like they was really singing each other's songs. That was dope.
That was tight.
I think they couldn't have picked a better dance partner for DMX, not for all the obvious reasons, but one thing that we've come to know about Snoop, I think Snoop knows his legacy is solidified. He was just happy to be there. And he could have won the battle in a more convincing fashion if he'd have played more of his records, but he didn't. He kept it for the most part strictly hip hop. And I like that. And it made it close and it made it competitive, and you can't ask me anything more than that. He didn't start playing all this bubblegum music. Snoop left so many hits on the table, bro. But he kept it strictly hip hop. And I'm okay with that. That was dope.
I honestly, that was one they should have just thrown the judging out the window. Because DMX is just, and Snoop, I forgot how many great songs Snoop had.
Yeah, you did, because you ain't heard him since the 90s.
Well,
and listen, and to your point, when you said the X first 4 albums was a classic, this is a question I ask everybody, right? Who had a better debut album than Doggy Style, bro? Like, we looked at Get Rich or Die Trying, that was hot. We looked at there's a lot of guys out there that had great first albums, but Doggy Style, 1 through 14?
Listen, you were young. I don't know. You might have remembered when that thing first dropped. And it was coming right off the Chronic because
Yeah,
he carried the Chronic,
he did.
and that thing blew up because falling back on that ass, where the hell if I gangster lean?
Oh yeah.
On the
Okay, I
back,
hear you. I
back
hear
salad.
you. Okay. All right, I hear you.
Dre would never say that he could. Snoop, I mean, when you look what he did on Deep Cover, I mean, it was the perfect build.
Bro, listen,
And then
we had never seen or heard anything like him before, bro. Everything about the dude was just different.
yeah,
Tall with a bunch of hair everywhere, but he was smooth. He was skinny, but he wasn't the guy you kind of want to try. His flow was just melodic. We had never heard that before.
and then to find this guy was an all-state football player.
Yeah, so was an athlete, believe it or not.
No, he was Calvin Grove. He was, and
I know he was. I'm just saying it's just hard to see that now, but he was. Yeah.
and it just when in that whole perfect build from the being on the Deep Cover soundtrack to being on the Chronic and doing Arsenio Hall and this whole groundswell about Snoop, and then when he dropped Doggy Style, now I'm a purist, so as much credit as I'll give him, I did not like him sampling Atomic Dog.
So if you listen to Snoop, you do know that he never wanted to be a gangster rapper. Snoop has always fashioned himself as a musician and he always loved the ladies. That gangster rap came when he got ready to sign a deal. The first song he performed was I'm not gonna say it was a pop record, but the first record he performed for those guys was not what they wanted to hear.
Well,
And it was like, nah, we want to hear some hard shit. And then that's when he came out and freestyle some hard shit. It was like, whoa. But he never, which is why think about how much he's changed. He didn't change because the times, no, Snoop, once he got solidified, he started doing what he wanted to do. And we ain't seen him go back to be a gangster since. He's been creative, he's been dabbling in different sounds, he's created a whole language. Izzle for shizzle, my nizzle.
he didn't
Like,
create. He did not create that language. He took that language from Parliament Funkadelic.
well, for our generation, he created language.
I guess
You're right.
because
You're
I
right.
stuck between the two.
Yeah.
Like he was in my generation. He's in my generation, but like
But Bootsy Collins, all those are his heroes. Those are the guys he look up to. When you hear him talk about his icons, it's Bootsy, it's George Clinton, and what was the drummer's name? You know what I'm talking about, the drummer.
yeah,
Those were his guys. And if you remember in NWA, right? When the movie first came on, what did you see Dre sampling?
yeah.
George Clinton. So that's what I'm saying. So all those guys kind of grew up kind of idolizing those guys.
But if you catch anything that was released by 213, now 213 was Snoop Dogg, Nate Dogg, and Warren G.
Warren G.
That was where Dre first heard him. He was in Warren.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't doing hard stuff. They were in the club, with the lady, like you said, with the ladies. And Snoop was able to finally get away from Death Row. That's when he was really able to grow.
Yep.
Because he couldn't work with Dre anymore when Dre left Death Row.
Pac
died. Master P left, and that's who got him away from Death Row. Because Master P and Tupac were going to start their own record label. Here's how deep that went. Tupac had already planted the seeds around the country by giving money for different youth centers that had recording studios in them. He had already decided with Master P they were going to start this record label, and they were going to just start pulling from kids who really wanted to get in and learn it. But,
sure.
I mean, they were way ahead of their time, bro. Way ahead. And that's why I look at Master P now and I'm like, I gotta give him a level of respect.
Absolutely.
I gotta give him a level.
Absolutely. First of all, you carpetbagger. You always gotta give Master P respect.
Carpetbagger.
We're in the South now, man. Respect that. Put some respect on our name. Stay trying us, man. What's going on, man? What's really good over there, man?
Carpetbagger. You talking about pillow biter? Ain't no carpetbagger.
That is so derogatory. That is so derogatory.
Hey, first of all,
you a habitual line stepper. You know that, right?
What'd you
You
say?
are a habitual line stepper.
Yeah, hell yeah. Um, but I look, I give credit where credit's due. Now the funny thing is, everybody's talking about, oh, Master P sold his first single, he sold 130,000. Second, I remember when he came on, there was a used to be the Sinbad show, and then Chris, I can't remember his last name, took it over when they got rid of Sinbad. And he had Master P come on. And like the first 10 CDs he put out, so all of them sold over 100,000 copies, right? But P was slick, boy. P had a sound scan barcode, and people put that barcode on other people's CDs that he was selling in his store, and they would get the money, but he would get the money from SoundScan and get the credit. Like he would put a single out, and then if just case in point, Mystical and Juvenile came through, he would put their barcode on his barcode on their stuff, and they would get the money from the cash register, but P would get all the revenue from SoundScan. I was like, wow.
Never heard that, but if it's true, hey, I can't knock the hustle, right?
Exactly. I'm not knocking his hustle, but look how many people he really helped. And you never heard about him doing what Birdman did. So
No, man. Snoop has said he owed his career to Master P.
because
When you look at what Nipsey said about Master P, like one thing about it, whether you really care for his music or not, because I was not a No Limit fan of the music. As a matter of fact, Silk the Shocker is one of the worst two rappers in the history of all hip hop.
yeah,
And I think that Mia X was underrated because I think she was so dope. He had a few people I liked, but I was not a big No Limit fan. Yeah, Mystical, Mia X, C Murder. I even thought Fiend was all right,
who?
but Fiend.
Yeah,
But I didn't really rock with No Limit like that. But
I love Mia X, but she
for what he did for the culture and how he changed music,
what?
yeah, man. And then his entrepreneurship on top of that, yeah, man.
He was the first
While
hip
still,
hop artist to put New Orleans on the map.
right, while still not compromising who he is.
Right.
Come on, man. You gotta salute that.
And this funny thing is, you run into people today, they still don't want to see him. They don't want to run up on him.
Yeah.
And you're like, dog, hey, just and he was the first one to really go out and do what he wanted to do. Like, who else? What other hip hop artist decided, you know what, I want to play pro basketball? So I'm gonna put this down for a minute.
And he could really hoop.
Yeah, he
He could really hoop.
He played for University of Houston until he messed his knee up.
Yeah.
That man, I didn't think we were gonna get on this part of the conversation, but yeah, that he was the jump, man.
Hey, man, it's the beatdown, man.
Back to who won the battle. You're right, we did. The fans did.
Yeah, the fans did.
It was so
and
good.
like I said, I think Snoop.
Huh?
No, you were saying something?
I said it was so good. I went and found it on YouTube this morning and sent it to my wife so she could hear it again.
Yeah, man. I'm definitely gonna tap into some of my Spotify. Even though I already have them, but certain songs that I forgot, I'm definitely gonna tap into that. But yeah, man, everybody won. Just glad to see X doing better, man. And
Me
you know,
too.
like I say, Snoop is the consummate brother, so it all worked out.
I'll be honest. During that time, I liked his music, but during that time, I was about a positive message. That was me and everything I did. And again, we never really got into my upbringing. And it's not I'm not going to get into it on the phone. I mean on the show. But I had a mindset of drugs are so prevalent, they don't need to be romanticized. They don't need to be glorified. Why would you take this life that nobody really wants to live and make it look appealing? Now, mind you, I was in my early 20s and I was doing hip hop locally, but my stuff was positive, and I was doing comedy at the same time, but my stuff was positive. And it was just like gangster rap came in, and you know, Florida also had the booty music. So both of them were swollen around Florida. If you weren't doing something like that, you were done. You weren't getting on. It was crazy. But I've learned to appreciate Snoop's music. I've learned to appreciate the artist. And I even though my mind wasn't there, but I really liked DMX's music. I just thought it had a raw authenticity to it that a lot of rappers were trying to find. It was like he really painted pictures, told stories of the life that, I knew was real, not what I was hearing from 106 in Park at the time. And it was a different. He was different. He was raw. I mean, I don't know if you heard Shine's first CD, but it was similar. But DMX just kept coming, and he made it palatable. And it was just like, yeah, it was. That was my dog back then, boy. I had everything he was putting out. So last night was like a party to me.
Yeah, for everybody else too, man.
And it was after the show, so I ain't have to. I'd have been crunk for an 11 o'clock show last night. But I'm
Well,
good.
anything else we got, brothers? We close this thing out. We talked that hour up quick.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I don't even have story time tonight, bro.
Okay. But I think we gave everybody a treat tonight, man. I mean, we only talked about two things, but hey, very entertaining, bro. Very
Yeah,
entertaining. A lot of good information. I hope people can take that. So that's what's up, man.
I enjoyed it.
Shouts out to Silk for tapping in with us, man. By the way.
Definitely. You know what? When you have a legend listening, watching your show, and commenting on your show, and Silk is a legend. Um, and just a really 100% dude. I mean, I know he was kind of standoffish when he first met me, but you know what? He gave me a chance. Then he started talking to me. Then he even came up to me one time at a fight and started talking to me. That's when I knew I was in. Cause Silk is just cool, man. Cool, graceful in everything he does.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
good dude, man. That's our guy. Good dude.
Really. I really, as much as I joke around and clown, I appreciate you, and shout out to your wife as well.
Dina.
I gave her a shout out just in case something happens, and she's the person that shows up to save my life. I don't want her to go, "Oh, that's that funny man." No, no. I want you to know I care about both of y'all. Yes.
Way to hey man, way to put yourself in good graces. Nothing wrong with that.
In case the badger like poisons me or trips me going down some steps, I'm gonna need her to come help me.
I would never do such a thing.
That's why he's wearing sunglasses. All right. Oh, forgiving shout outs. I know I better shout out to uh, the queen mother, my mom, my queen, my wife, the princess, my daughter. And you know what? I'm going to give a shout out to the Red Belly. Red Belly's been going through some things, and he doesn't miss the show. He catches it the next day if he doesn't catch it that night. He's always offering poignant conversation on, hey, this went wrong, or hey, this really worked. Appreciate you, man. Love you. Appreciate you. And my prayers are with you. And I know this is just the season that you're coming out of, and you're going to have your blessings coming towards you. Keep your head up.
Um, yeah, I don't, definitely shouts out to the Red Belly, man. I don't even know what else to say about that. I'm gonna leave that where it is. Um, and next time I see him, we'll exchange some words. Other
Nope.
than that, though, man,
Fight y'all.
what was that?
I said they're going to fight y'all. Talking about exchanging words.
Oh, like I said, shout out to my boy Silky Wilkie for tuning in with us, man. Shouts out to all the entrepreneurs out there trying to figure it out, trying to get it together. Shout out to my partner. He makes this show worth doing, and I look forward to it every day because it's therapy session. Um, Everybody out there in the interwebs, as they say,
Get the wheel.
appreciate y'all for rocking with us, man. That's all I got. Fight us, your nation. We out here. Peace.